Thank you, Deputy Speaker, and I'm always pleased to rise on an MPI when we're talking about housing and affordable housing and social housing. And I've been listening to the debate today and I think I'll reiterate what I said last time I spoke about this, that everyone in this chamber knows how important it is for our communities. There's no one in this chamber who's in any better position than anyone else when it comes for people on a waiting list. We all experience it in our offices. We field the calls of people waiting to get into homes. That's just the reality of our job. And our job, and it doesn't matter what side of the chamber you are on, our job is to help those people to try and get them into homes. And I want to contribute today, and there's a few figures I want to go through. And the part that is concerning me the most, and it's a pity the Minister just walked out, because the member for Albert Park said earlier, you need to be part of the solution. Rather than just attacking the government all the time, be part of the solution. So today in this, I will be part of the solution, and I hope the government takes it on board, Deputy Speaker. The part that really concerns me is the waiting times that have blown out for real emergency housing, people escaping domestic violence, for example. The target was 10 months. The actual at the moment is a 17-month wait, and it's probably going to blow out to 20 months. Now, that is a real concern for the most vulnerable, and we see these people week in, week out in our electorates, and we know we need to help them as quick as we possibly can. And I think what the government needs to do, and it needs to do quickly, is really start focusing on the most vulnerable when it comes to housing. And when we talk about the housing and we talk about the reports, and there's some figures that to me is quite confusing, and I would love for someone to clear this up, because these are the government's figures, they're not my figures. So we've got a $5.3 billion big housing build. So that's meant to deliver 12,000 homes, according to the figures. So that is an average of $441,000 per home. Then we've got another $1 billion for 1,300 homes into regional Victoria. Now that is $770,000 per home. So I'm not quite I don't understand the figures. I don't know how they're coming up with these figures on these estimates, because going by the government's own figures, the $5.3 billion for 12,000 homes, if you go by those figures, we should actually get about 2,150 homes in regional Victoria. And I made this contribution last time. I actually said, look at better ways of getting more bang for buck. And there's one thing I know that could help the government out. And I believe what they need to do to get these numbers down, because these numbers now, 67,000 applications. 67,000 applications for 12,000 homes. We're a long way behind. And I said this last time, this program didn't come into 2020. The government's been in since 2014. So we started 6 years late. The other thing that's going to contribute to this is our migration levels are going to come up, Deputy Speaker. We all know we're going to have an influx of migration. That's going to put more pressure on the system. And my suggestion to government is this. If you are really serious about reducing these numbers, if you are really serious about getting these homes delivered, one way you should look at it is there's a lot going on in construction. I think part of the problem, Deputy Speaker, is that there is so much going on at the moment. The government is probably finding it hard to find the resources to do these builds. With everything that's going on in infrastructure and everything else, and probably the one bright light of the Commonwealth Games getting cancelled, it could free up some resources to push into this. But what maybe the government should think about reaching out to the smaller builders. If there's a house there that's a one-bedder or a two-bedder on a freestanding block, reach out to some smaller builders around Victoria. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Expand your resource base. so you can actually get this delivered quicker, because it is very important. We all know we are in a housing crisis, and no more critical when it comes to the most vulnerable in these communities, and it's communities around the state. It's not just my community. And I did listen to the minister today when he said Baw Baw Shire is getting a $35 million investment, and I welcome it. Any investment into Baw Baw, I will welcome with open arms. Going on that figure of 441,000, that's about 80 homes. The problem is I've got 1,000 applications. So we're a long way short. We are a long way short. And it's not just my electorate, I understand this. I know it's across the whole state. But I think the government does need to start updating its data, because the data's not looking good at the moment. And the government, you know, if we look at the data at the moment, it's only saying we have a net gain of 74 homes. Now, I'm sure it's more than that. I'm going to give the government the benefit of the doubt, and I am sure it's more than that. But I would like to see the accurate data. And when we're saying 28 households moving in or preparing to move, I'd like that be narrowed to actually say what is happening. When we're talking 7,600 homes started or built, let's narrow that down. Let's give us the data. Is that at planning stage? Have they got the drawings done, the architects, the engineers, or are they at slab stage? Have they started construction? The best way to stop the criticism is to be more transparent. The best way to stop the criticism is to get the data right. And I think that's very important. It's not just important for this side of the House, it's important for all Victorians. But my concern is with 67,000 applications, and we're only talking at the moment 13,300 bills, we are a long way short of where we need to be. So how do we improve that? Do we have the budget for that? Because when we look at this, we've got to multiply that by 5. That's a long way short. And how is the government going to fix this problem? The government has been here since 2014. And I do get a little bit frustrated when we get attacked. We've been in 4 years out of the last 24 years. And when we were in, Deputy Speaker, in 2014, we had 9,900 on the priority waiting list. Now we've got 37,000, or if I take the minister's word for it, it's going to be about 31,000 in June. So I don't think you can look at this side of the House and be overly critical. We had good figures. The government's had time to fix this, but they were very late out of the box. When you introduced this in 2020, and the government had been in for 6 years already, this is something they should have started in 2014, 2015. This is something the government delayed, and now we're really paying the price for it. And it's all our communities. It's both sides of this House. It's bipartisan pain is the best way to put it. So I have said a lot on this, and this is my second contribution on this. And I'll reinforce this message to the government. If you are going to invest a combined of $6.3 billion into this, get your best value for money. Use smaller builders, if needs be, in regional areas. That will boost their economies and their employment. Look beyond the scope, widen, look outside the box. That's what the government needs to do to improve this situation, because this situation is not getting any better. It is getting worse day by day. But I am very pleased with my electorate of Narrabeen that we've been able to contribute to this and at least get 4 people out of crisis where they have been. Thank you, Deputy Speaker.